And today we're having our second lesson in summary writing. I'm Mrs. Swart, and I'll be guiding you through today's lesson. I want you to remember the rules of summary writing for today, because that's what the questions are based on at the end when you do the quiz. And the questions are all true or false questions. So I really expect all of you to try it, because guess what? You have a 50% chance of being correct, even if you don't know the facts. So really look at it and try your best. Now, summary writing is actually easy peasy, lemon squeezy, as they say, simply because you can just change a word here and there and make it your own. You do not quote verbatim. Now, what does that mean? That means you do not quote word for word, letter for letter. Then it's verbatim, then it's exactly what the writer has used. Rules for plagiarism are bent quite a bit here, because plagiarism means you're not allowed to write exactly what the writer has used. You cannot rewrite a book and instead of saying, for instance, Harry Potter did something, just say he did it and think it's your own work. Remember, summary is different. You are allowed to lift and just change a few things to make it your own. Do not try to use synonyms, because very often when you do synonyms, you make such a mess of it, a real hash, as they put it, and then you don't get the marks because you haven't used the words in the correct order, or they don't make sense. You can change active sentences to passive voice or passive sentences. Your instructions will guide you to do the correct format. You will be told it is a point form summary, and that is what you will do. And remember that a passage may include more than one fact in a sentence. So in the passage, when you read, you'll find sometimes there are 2 or even 3 facts in a sentence. You can give more facts in case one is repeated. So where you're required to give 7 facts, if you find 8 facts in the passage, by all means, give the 8 facts if you are within your word limit. And because then, say you've repeated something, it means that you will still get the marks, which will be wonderful. It will really help you a lot. But I want you to remember that the marker will mark only until the end of the correct number of words. So they're not going to mark beyond the 60 words that you are allowed. And only 7 facts will be credited. So if you've given 8 facts, you aren't going to get a bonus mark for the additional fact. But if you've repeated a fact and the 8th fact that you've given is now included in the word count, then it means that you will be credited for it, so you can still get 7 marks, which is a wonderful thing to get. Now I want us to look at what our instructions will tell us. I am using, it's a passage called UFO Spotted. Now you might wonder, why would I want to use this? And that is because it's a very simple piece that you will be able to identify what you're looking for. And remember, you have to have a topic supplied for you to know exactly what it is that you're going to respond to. So the instruction will tell you, read the passage, UFO Spotted, and then write a summary of no more than 60 words in which you list 7 points. Aha, and here we have the big thing. Remember, what do we want to know? It's got to be 7 points that are going to describe the UFO. So be very careful of that. I apologize if our screen went missing a little bit, but we've just switched from load shedding back to our electricity. Please take note, you have 60 words. Your summary must be written in point form. You have to list your 7 points in full sentences using no more than 60 words. Number your sentences. Write only 1 point per sentence, because you're only going to get 1 mark for the first fact in each of your points that you've given. Use your own words as far as possible. Now that means try to use your own words, but simply by changing things like where it says the UFO, you can change it to it, and then you've already made it your own. And you have to indicate the total number of words used at the end in brackets. Please count, because your summary will be counted by the marker. So don't take a wild guess. Now, a simple mathematical equation, yeah, I'm giving you a maths lesson as well. There are 7 points. There are 60 words. If you divide the 60 by 7, you get 8 words per fact. And then you have 4 words that you can still play with to get you to the 60. Then you're pretty safe. That will help you when you plan. Let's quickly look at what this passage is about. Now, because we're so limited for time, I'm going to take each paragraph and read through it, and then we're going to quickly have a look whether or not we can see if there's a description. Remember, that's what we're looking for, a description of the UFO. Now, very often we do not find the actual beginning. That's what I'm looking for, that word, the actual beginning of our summary. We only find it once we get to maybe the second paragraph. It all depends on where the teacher got this from. I'm just having a look now because I noticed that the screen isn't shifting the way it should. I'm going to try and keep going and see if it'll shift. Otherwise, I'll have to go back and reshare because it was lost from the screen at some stage. So if you'll just bear with me for a second, I'm going to quickly reshare to make sure that I can assist you with the correct screen over here. But in the meantime, let me continue telling you about this. Sometimes your summary will begin right at the beginning in the first paragraph, but other times it'll only start in the second or third. So be very careful that you don't fall into the trap of simply just going in and saying, okay, it has to be there, so let's see that it is there. I'm looking now if we're going to carry on with this screen. I don't know why it doesn't want to cooperate today. Great. There we have something happening now. I think the load shedding has shunted us around a little bit, so to speak. Okay, I'm afraid that it isn't moving on, but what I'm going to do then is I'm going to continue reading with you so that we can try. I'm going to stop sharing, then I'm going to share again, but I'm not going to go on longer than we need to, because then I'm going to be unfair to my fellow hosts. So I'm going to try sharing again, but in the meantime, let me continue telling you what we have here. I start reading in our first paragraph, and I look and I realize, but this paragraph isn't telling me anything at all about the description. It explains about the people who discovered this UFO or saw the UFO. So it's not anything to do with these people who actually have a description of it. So it's really quite interesting to look and see, you know what? This is not at all giving us an idea about what this UFO is. Now, since this doesn't want to move along, I will make a recording of this, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to read it to you so that you know exactly what there is here, that you don't have to sit and wonder about it. You're going to, first of all, you will read your instructions so that you know what your instructions are. You'll read them carefully before you start. You will underline and number all the relevant facts, and you will write your response from margin to margin. Then what you're going to do is you'll use that information to write your summary. But remember, you may only use one fact per sentence. And the first paragraph just tells us it was a dark night. The people were looking all over. They looked up and they saw nothing. And suddenly this thing flew past him. And this man saw a real life, unidentified flying object. And he was so shocked. But nowhere in that paragraph does it describe what it looked like. So we know this thing was huge and he had never seen anything like this in his life. The second paragraph tells us what it was shaped like. And when you have this, I don't see this showing on my screen at all, my backup screen. And that is why I'm pretty sure that you cannot see this screen of mine. And then it tells us about everything that he sees. Oh my goodness, but it seems like the gremlins have got hold of us today. And then we move on, and you have to identify each of your points here. You have to go and underline them. And when you've underlined them, you number them as well. And then you will look at how you can change them. So, in other words, if it says the UFO was huge and you say it was huge, then you have written it in your own words already. And that is how simple it is. What I'm going to do, since this whole quiz of mine today is based on the instructions that I've been giving you, it's almost like a blind test you're taking because you haven't been able to see it. What I'd like you to do is to try the quiz. I'll share it on the group and try and remember what it is that we have discussed and that we've spoken about so that you can write the quiz or answer the quiz, because you'll see that we're getting stuck at the same places all the time. So I think that it's going to be best if we just carry on with the quiz. See, now suddenly it's decided to move. So we're going to do the quiz, and then we are going to see how well you do in it. I will share the slides with you, and I will make a recording for you later on again. Have a wonderful day and good luck with the quiz. I'll share it on the group right away, as well as the QR code, which is going to assist you a lot. I am pretty sure that the problem today had to do with the load shedding that coincided with the lesson, but we'll get that sorted out. Have a wonderful day. Thank you, everyone.